Terrors covered with all. Let's go again in Margaritaville. What the hell? Whoa! Well, good morning to everyone who's watching. Appreciate you watching out there. Really appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up button. It does help our little business down here in Texas grow. Helps our YouTube channel out. We do get a little bit of income from our YouTube channel. Helps us buy abrasives, do advertising, that sort of thing. So any help you can give us by doing that, hitting that thumbs up is always appreciated. Another day in paradise. Not really familiar with Medford knives. I'm just trying to get them good and sharp. This is I got to be careful how I say things, economically priced pair of Salon shears. Something right there. All right, looks pretty good. Well, buy her a good pair of shears. You don't need to spend $1,500 or anything like that, but several hundred to 500 is a good middle ground. If you buy cheap, it's just not going to last. That's a good middle ground. Stay away from Hanzos. They're outrageously expensive, and they're no better than anybody else's. Check out Shark Fin or Above Shears. Those are good brands. Mizuno. go to the shearmall.com. They've got all kinds of brands, and they'll have some specials from time to time. Well, I appreciate everybody watching out there. Really would appreciate if you hit that thumbs up button. And if you're so inclined, please subscribe to the channel. It does help our little business down here in Texas grow. We are Sharpen Right Services. We sharpen salon, barber, and pet grooming shears. These are a salon shears from a nice lady that was off today and dropped them off last night. She'll come pick them up this afternoon. I've got 5 pairs to do this morning. Yeah, it's just water. Yesterday it was all about dog groomers. I did a ton of clipper blades yesterday. Still see a haze at that tip. Maybe the fine stone will make it look better. Well, Troy, these are water stones. These are wet stones, ceramic wet stones, so oil would destroy them. The only thing you could use oil on is a stone that's made for oil, like an Arkansas stone or a natural stone. These are not natural stones. These are ceramic. So you wouldn't want to use oil on them. I would tell you to go to the website sharpeningsupplies.com. They talk all about the different stones and what to use them for. The only thing I use stones for are these salon and barber and pet grooming shears. I don't use stones for the knives I sharpen. If somebody wants their knives sharpened on stones, I'm not your guy. There's plenty of guys out there that'll do it on stone. That looks pretty good. Yeah. That looks good. I'll work this one a little bit more. That looks good. Those aren't cutting too bad. Yeah, no angle grinders here, Robert. We don't want an angle grinder. That would make quick work of these. Look at how bad the set is on these. Wow. Oh, elite edges, that's the problem. Finding somebody that's got everything. You can get a lot of it at the Edge Pro. You can get a lot of it at Bonica. I bought a kit on Alibaba. Temu's probably got it. eBay, I saw a couple of them on eBay. There's just not one place, sadly, that's got everything you need. I wish there was. I wish I had a place to say, hey, just go get it from here. I know there's some guys on eBay that put together kits. I've seen them. Try there first. Do salon or barber shear repair kits, parts. Do that search. There is a business opportunity for someone. Yeah, it is a pain, I tell you what. It's very frustrating when I want something. I would start with Bonica. If you just want a few parts. She has a hard time finding stuff. Mark, you can go to wolfindustries.com and look at the prices. Wolf, W-O-L-F-F, Industries, Spartanburg, South Carolina. You can look at all their machines. It's still pretty hot here. It's not bad this morning. It's humid though. It's 88 degrees and 64% humidity in the shop with the fans running. That's why I'm trying to get all this stuff done early. I've got 5 pairs of shears and about 18 knives to do this morning. And people are texting me already. Where are you at in Florida again? That's right. Okay, now I remember you telling me this. Kind of the same weather here as Florida and, you know, Gulf Coast, swamp. Mark, about 3 years, I guess. You know, you can make good money just doing knives, especially if you can do the farmer's market and those type of things. Knives and sewing scissors, if you really hustle, you can make some money doing that. And there are some advantages to just doing that kind of stuff. Clipper blades are the biggest pain in the butt. It's the worst. But if you don't do the clipper blades, you're not going to get the dog groomer shears. So you would have to just do salon and barber shears, and that means you're going to have to travel. That's exactly right. I did probably 100 pairs of shears before I started charging. That looks good. I did a couple hundred clipper blades before I started charging. Matt, go to my YouTube page and look at convex edge shears. That's what the flat hone is for, is sharpening in the convex edge. These are not convex edge, these are beveled edge shears. I have multiple tutorials on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. All right, those are cutting good for a cheap pair of shears. A little tight. So those are catching at the tip, I can tell already. So these were supposed to be beveled edge, convex edge shears, and the last sharpener put a bevel on them. These are Olivia Garden silk cuts. These are convex edge shears from the factory. Well, no, I'm working the inside ride line first. You see that line? That's what the stones are for. There's two sides to a shear, two sides to the cutting edge, like a knife, but they're not beveled on both sides, or not convex on both sides. A convex is like a wing of an airplane. It slopes down to the point in the back. And these were supposed to be, see that bevel? Can you see the bevel on there? It's not supposed to be a bevel on the outside of that shear. It's supposed to be a convex edge. Right now I'm just working the middle part of the shear where the shear rides together like that. So using the stones, I have to work that inside line first. Some guys work the inside line last. I do it both. I do it first before I go to the hone, and I do it at the end. I think it produces a better edge. And these should be about 55 degrees unless the last sharpeners put a bevel on it. He could have put a 45. So he's taken a lot of life off of the shears by doing that. But I'm going to try to fix them. Olivia Gardens are 55 degrees on the edge from the factory. And the guy put a 45 on them. I can tell right there. I don't have any opinion. I don't use them. The only diamond plate I use is for ceramic clipper blades. It does for me, Mark. The black on these, excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. On these the high gloss shears, like these, I can't see the black, the scratch of the black as well. The red works better for me. Some guys use blue, and I can't see the blue as well either. And that's not a dumb question, Mark. That's a good question. I am in Texas. And she can mail them to me if you're in the United States. I get mail in all the time. The stones or the disc? Are you talking about these, Damon? Oop. I can tell already. I gotta go aggressive. Well, they're abrasives, so they'll last about 10 pairs. Just depends. Just depends on how many shears and how bad the shears are. I'll usually get 6 to 10, depending on how bad they are. Some last longer than others. Some of the brands last longer than others. These are my least favorite. This is the last set from the batch I bought of these. These were supposed to be CBN, and they're really terrible. They load up material more than I want them to. Aluminum oxide is better than silicon carbide. These are supposed to be CBN, but you can see how it loads up material, and it's very hard to clean. So I've got 5 pairs of shears to do. This is the 3rd pair. After I do the next 2 pairs of shears, I'll throw these away. And I won't buy these again. I agree with you 100%. I do not like using the oils and the paste. Look, man, I just use I have 2 different pads. I have the thin pad. This is the thin pad, and I can't remember where I got this. And I think this was from Wolf. And then I made a thicker pad also. And I'm old school. I use the old white aluminum oxide. You know, it's less messy. The green gums up too much, and this pad I used green on it, or the blue, and it gummed it up, but it still works pretty well. I don't like the paste. Some guys swear by the diamond paste. I'm not messing with it, but that's just me. I'm just saying, but that's just me. And I always do the touch-up most of the time on the, and I'm not sure that's the right way of doing it. See, I don't use leather on the shears. Who did you train through originally? That looks pretty good. I think I got all the burrs off of it. Maybe a little smudge on the inside. Okay. Well, you probably ought to go see John Kuiper's in Jupiter. John's a good trainer. And God, for God's sakes, don't watch what I do and take it as gospel. keep seeing something on the edge. I think it's all right. I would definitely recommend you do some training with some of the trainers here in the U.S. John would be the closest to you, and then next would be Bonnie at Bonica up in Georgia. Dennis Brooks, I think, is in Indiana. He's a good teacher. Ray Pope, I think, is in Illinois. He's a good teacher. And then you have to go out west to get anybody else. I don't think there's anybody between the Mississippi and the Rocky Mountains. Oh, I don't know how much in terms of, I get $20 a pair when they bring them to me. I don't know, the material, you're probably looking at, $10 worth of material. Yeah, you could do Wolf Industries would be a good one. Look up John Kuiper's Wicked Sharp Shears in Jupiter, Florida, and give him a call and tell him that Mike White down in Texas referred you to him, and just feel him out on some training. He'll tell you what you need and what to do. And I think you'll like his personality. I do. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a real good trainer. He's a very patient guy, and he's got a YouTube channel, Wicked Sharp Shears. I think he's got that East Kuipers. Call him, talk to him. He's a good guy. He's just a good guy. That looks pretty good. Paul, this is 1,000 grit. Now we're going to go to 6. I'll finish on a 6. Well, John, thanks for watching. I'm only mediocre at best. Have a good one, man. Let me know what John says to you. I'm not looking for polished edge here so much as just a clean edge. Clean, even ride lines. That looks real good. A stencil for maintaining angles. No. That looks real good. All right, let's put them back together and see how they cut. Looks like we're missing a washer. All right, so we got to find a washer here. Or did I not take it out? No, I didn't take it out. That's the problem. John, I'm going to show you here in a minute. Paul, I charge, if I go to a salon or a barber shop, I charge $35 per pair, and they have to have a minimum of 3 pairs of shears for me to load up all of my equipment and take it to a salon or a barber shop. Now, if it's a dog groomer, take care, Mark. If it's a dog groomer, they have to bring them to me. I don't do mediocre. I mean, I don't do mobile. I was reading at the same time. Sorry. I don't do mobile for dog groomers, and I charge $20 a pair. Now the barbers and the stylists can bring their shears to me, like this lady did here at my home shop, and I only charge $20 a pair because I didn't have to travel anywhere. They had to travel here. And I'm cheaper than a lot of people. But a lot of people don't have a home-based shop either. Some guys charge more than I do, some guys charge less. That's just my pricing. All right, so somebody was asking about how John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. You still on? John, the first thing I do is, and I've got a couple of videos on my channel you can check out of how I test shears. First thing I tested on is 1-ply tissue paper. And I mean, if it cuts like this, I tested it before I sharpened them, and they didn't cut real well. In fact, they didn't cut at all the first 3/4 of an inch of the shear. And it's still kind of catching a little bit there. So I'm going to go back to the wheel. Just at the tip, it's catching a little bit. And so that's the first test I do. And then it's usually wet tissue paper. You can't see me doing this because I've got it hanging up on the wall. I think it's okay. I'm going to test it with real human hair. So I tested at the back, cutting great, middle, cutting great, and the tip is what I really care about, and it's cutting really good at the tip. You see it? I don't know if you can see that or not, but watch. So those are good. So you have to test on the material that the product is, or the tool is going to be used on. You know, a lot of sharpeners, they're all cutting paper with a knife. Who in the hell cuts paper with a knife? Get an orange out or potato and slice it. So I have real human hair to test it on. 1800 degrees. 1800. Yep. Yeah, check out some of my YouTube videos, John. More in depth, and then a live stream. You don't want to over polish a shear. If you go beyond 2000 grit, it's gonna push hair. And if it pushes, it's not cutting. So I just want to make sure they're nice and clean and pretty before I give them back to her. One more little test, and it's cutting great. These are cutting great compared to what they were. So do a final adjustment, a little lube, and that's about right. You don't want them to slam closed, and you don't want them to be too tight either. And I like to take a little rubber band and put it around the tip just to keep them closed and protect the blade. All right, we got another pair. Those are kind of crunchy. If they're crunchy on 1-ply tissue paper, if I'm feeling them, and see that's not cutting, see how it's not cutting good? That's terrible. If it won't cut 1-ply toilet tissue, it's not gonna cut hair very well. Here's my little ponytail. I wanna test at the back, and it's pushing right there. Definitely pushing there. And, oh, very much pushy at the tip. And these have been sharpened to death. Well, McClure, go to my website. You can get all the information there. You can mail them to me. I charge $20 plus return shipping when you mail me hair shears. This is an old pair of shears here. It's not particularly good quality, but we're going to get them to cut better. I can see the damage. I can see the damaged ride line right there. It's just worn, you know, everything wears out. I'll tell you what I want to do first. I'm going to check the set on these. These look funky. That looks pretty good. Hey, Jim. I saw your lawnmower video this morning when I was having coffee. Good job. A lot of work, man. That's a lot of work for those lawnmower blades. Got a little bit right there. That's why I don't like them. And I had even bought a sandblast cabinet and a big compressor to do them, and they were still too much work. I kept the compressor and gave the sandblast cabinet away. I was hoping that the guy that I gave the sandblast cabinet to, he already had a compressor. I've been trying to talk him into doing all the lawnmower blades for me and yard tools. Man, that's not good. These are just shot. These shears are in bad shape. She just needs to replace these. I think I need a new marker. This is about had it. I can feel the damage right there at the tip. This one's got some scratches on the back of it. See if I can make it look a little bit better at least. Well, I appreciate everybody watching out there. If you just tuned in, I hope you hit that thumbs up button. Help the algorithm out, help our little channel out down here in Texas. Looks better than it did. Alright, I gotta get these done. I got one more pair after this. And there's not much hope for these shears. Ugh. Ooh. All right, those are cutting nice. They're cutting as about as well as they're going to cut. These are just worn out shears. So anyway, we got one more pair to do, but I'm gonna have to shut this down. My battery is dying here. Hope y'all are having a great day. Barney, you coming in last. I did save your YouTube channel. I just haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I will. And I'll make some comments and give you a hard time. My battery's dying on my phone, so we're gonna shut it down and go put it back on the charger. Hope you guys have a great day wherever you're at. Cheers.